Hey everybody, this is Ruben. Welcome back to the Placebo Effect. So, this episode I wanted to start kind of a theme with respect to seeing the world differently as a Christian versus how I saw the world as an atheist, right? So a little bit of a compare and contrast of the shift in the worldview paradigm. And the world just makes more sense to me now. It's something that I honestly wonder, like, how I really truly felt resolved about life as an atheist. So one thing that kind of I thought was an interesting way to address the question that a lot of atheists will make, which is, well, what evidence do you have of God? What evidence do you have that God is true? And an interesting thing, hit me when I was thinking about this the other day, which is, what evidence I have for God? The Lamborghini. Or the skyline of Dubai. We have such beauty in our architecture and design, right? As human beings, we are creators. That's what we do. From ideas to design to output, right? We just create. And think about a facet of our life where we don't create. In cooking, in gardening, in our jobs. Obviously, there's an entire industry of an art form around this, right? The music industry, the entertainment industry, the movie industry, the television industry, artists, painters. But I kind of like just going to the Lamborghini as an example, right? If you think about it in this perspective, right, the car serves a functional purpose, right? The car gets us from point A to point B. So why don't all cars look the same? Why aren't our cars just basic, boxy, four wheels and a motor? And yeah, I can understand some comforts in there, air conditioning, heater, adjustable seats, those types of things. But there's the aesthetics behind it, right? We care about color. We care about the look. We care about the design of the vehicle, right? Sports cars are sexy. We actually use this word when we describe a sports car, right? So why would human beings who are just evolved animals have this capacity to design? Where would we get it from? If we are able to create functional utilities for the purpose of giving us more convenience, okay, well, so be it. Then why don't all refrigerators look the same? Why don't all washing machines look the same? Why don't all cars look the same? Why do we have the Lamborghini? Why do we have the Ferrari? Why do we have the Tesla? Well, maybe Tesla's not that great of an example. I mean, there's something about Teslas that I find a little bit interesting, I guess. But you know what I mean? We've got a lot of aesthetics that we design into the vehicle. We want them to look cool. I remember when the Camaro, the new redesigned Camaro, when it came out, people were like, "Wow, this car is cool," right? It caught people's attention. The Transformers movie definitely helped that out by having Bumblebee take the shape of the Camaro. But my point is that, right, people looked at the car and it was impressive. I mean, in the movie Transformers, it's kind of interesting because that's kind of how that transformation goes, right? He's an old POS beater of a car, and he transforms himself into the updated modern day Camaro, and it catches eyes, right? So We don't just make cars for functional reasons. We don't just build cars to get us from point A to point B. We put style in them. We put design in them. We want them to have certain colors that look great. We put shiny coats on the cars. And some new style of cars like have this cool matte look to them, right? So the look of the vehicle matters just as much to us as the functional benefit that we get from the car. Now, why is that? Why do we design such a thing? What's the explanation for that? Science doesn't have an answer to that. For everything that science has with respect to the incredible amount of information and the discipline within evolutionary biology, and look, that's not my field. I'm not going to try to be one of those armchair quarterbacks. You're not really going to get that out of me in these videos. I'm not going to be the type of person that seems like they can just, from a layman's perspective, create some sort of effective argument to try to bring down an institution of learning. I'm just going to admit I'm out of my element there. But not everybody has to be a PhD in a field of discipline before they just are qualified to have an opinion, right? That's another thing we have to realize, is that we're allowed to discuss our worldview. It's like, I use a sports analogy. Not everybody has to be an NFL level athlete before they're allowed to even play football, right? Kids can just go play sandlot football, and there's flag football, and there's all different kinds of football, right? Or if you want to use a baseball analogy, not everybody has to be a major league level baseball player to play baseball. There's intramural softball teams at work, or just, neighborhood communities. So people in all different areas of their skill set can partake in a common thing. And so when it comes to this, right, my opinion coming out here is definitely a lay opinion, but there's still rationality behind it. There's a reasonable outlook to this. And from everything that I was exposed to in school as far as evolutionary biology, science doesn't really answer this question to my satisfaction. When I was an atheist, I wasn't really interested in trying to research every single nuance of evolutionary biology to get my satisfaction. I accepted all the learning that I'd received about natural selection and mutation and the fossil record and all that kind of stuff. All the textbooks, what they teach you about this subject. But when I look back on it now, there was just not enough correlation to connect these dots all the way to where there's a scientific explanation for why we have the capacity for design. Why would humans make the Lamborghini? Why would we do that? What? We have this gene in our DNA code that is the design gene? I don't think so. So anyway, that's my take for this episode. I think it's an interesting response, right? So when the question is asked, what evidence do you have that God exists? An interesting answer I wanted to throw out there is the Lamborghini. And it can start a different debate, right? It can start a different topic, like, what are you talking about? Anyway, food for thought. Thanks for listening. God bless y'all, and we'll talk next time.